So, let's start with a bold claim. A meme sank a presidential campaign. It all began with a throwaway line in a satirical magazine decades ago, an almost childish insult about a New York real estate developer's hands. But that old joke got resurrected and reforged into a relentless political weapon. It was an attack on his masculinity, a symbol of ridicule that became inescapable and helped define his entire online image. But did it actually work? This is the story of how the tiny hands meme became one of the most bizarre and personal attacks in modern political history. To get how this all happened, you have to go back to the 1980s. A now-defunct magazine called Spy, co-founded by Graydon Carter and Kurt Anderson, was famous for its witty takedowns of New York's elite. Donald Trump, a flashy and rising real estate mogul, was one of their favorite targets. Looking for a new way to get under Trump's notoriously thin skin, Carter landed on a perfect phrase: the short-fingered vulgarian. The insult was specifically designed to needle him. And boy, did it work. For years afterward, Carter would occasionally get envelopes from Trump. Inside, there would be a picture of Trump torn from a magazine, with his hands circled in gold Sharpie. A handwritten note would say something like, "See? Not so short." Clearly, the insult had burrowed deep. For the better part of 2 decades, it was a private obsession, a sore spot for Trump. But it was about to go very, very public. Everything changed in 2015. As Donald Trump launched his wildcard campaign for president, Graydon Carter, who was now the editor of Vanity Fair, decided to tell the short-fingered vulgarian story again. This reintroduced the old jab to a national audience, right as the internet was becoming the main battlefield for the 2016 election. While jokes about Trump's hands had been floating around online for a while, Carter's story was like pouring gasoline on the fire. The tiny hands meme exploded. It was visually simple, incredibly easy to Photoshop, and hit a nerve. Photoshopped images of Trump with hilariously small hands started flooding social media. At first, it was kind of an inside joke for the extremely online, but it just needed one big push to break into the mainstream. That push came from one of his biggest political rivals. During the Republican primary, the campaign had turned into a schoolyard brawl. Trump had nicknamed Senator Marco Rubio Little Marco. So, in February 2016, Rubio decided to hit back with a jab of his own. At a campaign rally, he brought up the old insult. "He's like 6'2", Rubio said, which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who is 5'2". He paused, letting the crowd get the joke before adding, "And you know what they say about guys with small hands?" The line was a sensation. It took an internet meme and dropped it onto the stage of a presidential race. It was a direct taunt aimed squarely at Trump's well-known insecurity. The meme wasn't just a joke anymore, it was a deliberate political attack. And Trump was about to take the bait in front of the entire country. Just a few days later, during a Republican debate on national television, the topic came up. Instead of just ignoring it, Trump walked right into the trap. He held up his hands for everyone to see. "Look at those hands," he said. "Are they small hands?" He then decided to address Rubio's insinuation head-on, assuring the American public that, despite what they may have heard about his hands, there was no problem with other parts of his body. It was a completely surreal moment in American politics. A leading presidential candidate was defending the size of his penis on a live debate stage. The clip went mega viral instantly. The tiny hands meme had reached peak visibility. It was everywhere, on late-night TV, in newspaper cartoons, and in millions of online parodies. A super PAC was even formed called Americans Against Insecure Billionaires with Tiny Hands. More than just a joke, the meme had successfully merged a physical caricature with a political narrative. That Trump was insecure, thin-skinned, and ridiculously easy to provoke. So, let's start with a bold claim. A meme sank a presidential campaign. It all began with a throwaway line in a satirical magazine decades ago, an almost childish insult about a New York real estate developer's hands. But that old joke got resurrected and reforged into a relentless political weapon. It was an attack on his masculinity, a symbol of ridicule that became inescapable and helped define his entire online image. But did it actually work? This is the story of how the tiny hands meme became one of the most bizarre and personal attacks in modern political history.